Hey, what's up? It's Bill the Universe, and I'm going to do the birth chart reading of Michael B. Jordan. So, I love this pic that I found of Michael B. Jordan, and you're welcome. Okay, so I absolutely love his chart. I think his chart is very, very fascinating. Two main things that I see, and this is why I like this chart. This is why I like him. And this is why I think a lot of people like him, because there are very, very strong aspects of beauty here. Obviously, we see beauty. There are two separate aspects of beauty. One is he has a very strong, masculine beauty. And the other one is he has very strong feminine beauty. And what is the difference? Sun is Mars or the sun, and feminine beauty is the moon or Venus, right? And he has all of it. That when you have a lot of feminine beauty and masculine beauty, you are manly and sexy, and you are beautiful. You have a pretty face. You're cute, and you're sexy, and you're masculine. You're virile and you're soft. So he has very strong polarities of beauty. And I think that's very fascinating. And, I'm not trying to sound like sexist or trying to be, whatever, bilateral. But there are masculine and feminine in Jyotisha. That's just what it is. It's an ancient system. Anyway, moving on. Sorry. So let's start with the masculine sexiness. So he's an Uttara Falguni ascendant. That's a star in Virgo. He's a Virgo ascendant. And the astrologer Claire Nagdi found out that Uttara Falguni ascendant is the very most common ascendant placement for handsome men. So Ryan Reynolds is Uttara Falguni ascendant. What's his name? Like two of the One Direction people. Niall Horan is Uttara Falguni ascendant, and the other one, Zayn, is Uttara Falguni ascendant, and so is what's his name? Mel Gibson is Uttara Falguni ascendant. So many people, so many handsome fucking men are Uttara Falguni ascendant. Not just ascendant, but Uttara Falguni moon. James Franco is Uttara Falguni moon. And Sean Connery is Uttara Falguni moon. I mean, this is just a very, very sexy placement. Again, it's the mixture of feminine and masculine, because Uttara Falguni itself, the nakshatra, is ruled by the masculine sun, but it's sitting in the sign of Virgo. And Virgo, I'd like to add, if I'd like to remind you, that it is the most feminine sign. It is. I mean, it just is. First of all, it's the only sign that is actually a woman, right? Like, this is also the sign of the nun. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you have this bi thing. You have this two poles of what beauty is, So he's Uttara Falguni ascendant, ladies. That is like the best thing for a man to be. I mean, if Uttara Falguni, first of all, you got to give it up to your boy Bill of the Universe, because I used to date Uttara Falguni ascendant, and he was a Purvashada moon, which means he was handsome with a big ass, with a big ass something, with a big long something. So give it up for your boy for having good taste. But so anyway, the other thing is his sun is in Dhanishta. Dhanishta is a star in Aquarius, so he's an Aquarius sun. Straight up athletes are Dhanishta. Sylvester Stallone, who who also was in those boxing movies with Michael B. Jordan. Damn, I can't remember the fucking name. I can't remember the fucking name. I hate that. But I've seen like 2 or 3 of those movies and I fucking love them. But Stallone is Danishta. And Christopher Reeve, the very first Superman, was Danishta. Russell Crowe, the man who played Gladiator, is Danishta. So you can see that Danishta people are warriors. Danishta is a warrior. First of all, the nakshatra itself, Danishta is ruled by Mars, the warrior. So, and this is actually the height of Mars. Mars does so well here. This is why you get so many like athletes, really, really dedicated athletes who are Danishta. Because when Mars is in Mrigashira or Chitra, you know, Mars is still kind of immature. They can tend to lose their cool. Mars is too hot-headed. Mars is too egotistical. You know, but here in Danishta, Mars is very focused. Mars is the success story of boot camp. You know what I mean? And so that's why a lot of what's it called? Military people are in this star of Danishta, and it's a fighter. You know, it's just straight up a fighter, Danishta. What else was I gonna say about? Oh, and it's very beautiful. Shawn Mendes is a Danishta moon. Marilyn Monroe is a Danishta moon. So this is very, very sexy already. Like as far as the sexy department goes, he's winning because Danishta is a sexy placement, a sun placement for a man, and Uttara Falguni ascendant for a man. Like that almost guarantees for a man to be sexy. Like fuck this guy. Okay, then I want to talk about the feminine beauty. He has this Ketu in the first house. That astrologer, Claire Nocti, she also found that Ketu in the first house was very common with Victoria's Secret models. So this is moving on to his feminine beauty placements. So Ketu in the first house, like I said, it's a feminine placement. It actually makes them lean. It's what it does. It's kind of similar to having like Ketu conjunct your sun. Ketu is the south node of the moon. So yeah, that's why you see a lot of fashion models with Ketu in their first house, because Ketu is very hot. Ketu is actually hotter than the sun. And what do hot things do? They soak up all the moisture. They soak it all up. So I mean, that's why. So it makes these people lean. That's why it's when Ketu is conjunct your sun or Ketu is in your first house of the body, it can actually kind of like make it really, really lean. And Ketu ultimately is a feminine energy. It's yin. It's not yang. It's yin. It's a very receiving energy. It's a very intuitive energy. So this indicates that he's a very, very intuitive person. Can I be honest with you? Actually, this is almost like a psychic placement. Ketu in their first house, especially in his nakshatra of Hasta. But I'll get to that later. Next thing is that he has his actual Venus in the 4th house. That is such a feminine placement. Venus in the 4th house, it's not the best place for Venus. I mean, Venus is best in Pisces, but it is in another water sign here. It's in Cancer, and it's in the 4th house. Wait, no, it's not in Cancer. I'm sorry, but it is in the 4th house of Cancer, and 4th house is a beauty house. Like when people have their Rahu in 4th house, they will be obsessed with beauty. They like you know Mariah Carey, how she's like really into makeup and the whole Regina George vibe. That is Rahu in the 4th house. RuPaul actually has his Rahu in the 4th house, and that's funny because he loves makeup, you know. But 4th house, because it's the mother, that's why it's actually the most beautiful house. That's why, because Cancer is the most beautiful sign. So his Venus, which is everyone's feminine side, is in the most feminine house. It's in the most beautiful house, which is the 4th house. It's also kind of feminine because it kind of makes them a little bit maternal. They really like good good surroundings. They really like a good home because this is the 4th house. So they have really, really nice surroundings. They have really nice, beautiful homes, and they kind of like take a lot of pride in that, and they kind of have it as their little sanctuary. They're kind of very private that way. But mainly Venus in the fourth house, that makes you very beautiful in a feminine way too. Okay, so the other thing is he has his Ketu in Hasta. That's a star in Virgo. So he has his south node of the moon in Virgo. It's so funny because I actually was taking notes a couple months ago on Ketu and Hasta. And when I was doing Michael B. Jordan's chart, I was doing it on the back sides of my notebook papers. And it wound up being exactly next to my Ketu and Hasta notes. So that's incredibly funny. So he has his Ketu and Hasta, and I'm going to read the notes of what I put about people with Ketu and Hasta. This is interesting because it says healing and hands-on work, body work, physical therapy, massage. So I think that's really interesting because that's all the hands. So, and he's a boxer, right? He played a boxer, and that's the hands. Psychic divinatory abilities. Remember I said this is kind of a psychic chart. Palmistry, astrology, tarot cards, stuff like that. Creative, spiritual pursuits. Yeah, like Ketu and Hasta in the first house is actually pretty spiritual. It's kind of very yin. Like I said, it's feminine, you know, and not no homo, like not in a gay way. It's in a very spiritual way, you know. The other reason why I think he is kind of like a little bit in touch with his femininity, you know what I mean? Like not afraid of his yin nature, is because first of all, he has his seventh house. His Jupiter is in his seventh house. So seventh house, as you already know, is your spouse. So he has his Jupiter in the seventh house. Jupiter is the husband. Jupiter is the father figure. Jupiter is the person who's taking care of your children. Jupiter is him. Jupiter is a male planet. Jupiter is Suffolk. You know, Jupiter is male. Jupiter is the husband. So it's funny that he has his first house in Hasta, which is kind of the housewife energy. It's kind of it's feminine energy. And then the seventh house is actually very masculine. So it's because it has Jupiter in here. Not only does he have Jupiter in his seventh house of the wife, but he has it in a Jupiter nakshatra, which is Purva Bhadrapada. That's a star in Pisces. So I actually think that's pretty interesting. So it's like, on one hand, physically, he has Uttara Falguni ascendant and he's Dhanishta sun, which makes him very masculine looking and very masculine on the surface. But energetically, with his marriage, she will be the Jupiter one. She will be like the husband, and he will be the kind of the pretty thing. And that's so funny. And he has his Mars in the seventh house. He's got two masculine planets in his seventh house of the wife. And then his first house, which is his body, he's got Ketu, which is a feminine energy. Isn't that interesting? So anyway, yeah, I mean, that's why he's so fucking sexy, because he has very strong masculine beauty placements, and he has very strong feminine beauty placements. Okay, so those were the two main things I wanted to cover. Okay, these are just here's some more stuff. His Jasha in the third house. He has Saturn and Jasha in the third house. Okay, so his third house is in Scorpio. That's really good. Again, that's really good for fighting. That's really good for competition. Your third house is your house of competition. That's one of the things your third house is for. And you don't want someone nice in the third house. You want someone who's rude. You want someone who's mean, who's pushy. You want someone who is not afraid to hurt feelings, not afraid to be on top and want to be on top, you know. And so he has a Saturn there. Not only, and Saturn is good there because it's a malefic. Not only does he have Saturn there, but it's in Jesha, which is in Scorpio. Jesha is a star in the heart of Scorpio. So he has his third house of competition ruled by Scorpio, which is the warrior, because it's Mars. So good on him. This further accentuates the competitiveness, the willingness, the drive to win, to succeed, to make the finish line. So this is really, really, really good. Oh, that's so hilarious. And his actual Venus is in Mula. That is so funny. He might marry. Oh, he has a wife already? Does he have a wife? I think he does. Oh, okay. I was gonna say he might marry a blonde or like a party lady. Um, but why did I say? Oh, I thought that was funny because Mula can be a destroyer. Mula, it can be known as being like a big person. Because when men have Mula, they're very big. Like Arnold Schwarzenegger is Mula, and the Undertaker, like a lot of wrestlers are Mula. So that's so funny because I was just saying how his seventh house is so masculine, and then his actual Venus, which is the planet of the wife, is in a masculine placement. And Mula, if you didn't know, is in the sign of Sagittarius, which is again Jupiter, right? Isn't that hilarious? So his wife is going to be all Jupiter, and he's Ketu. That's very fascinating. That means, ultimately, what that means is that his wife is going to be very, very giving. His wife is going to give so much, like on a very big scale, on a very big level. Jupiter people are doormats. Jupiter people don't know when to stop giving. They will give and they give and they give till they die. They will die from giving too much energy to their spouse, to their loved one, to whoever. So the fact that the fact that all of his partner and wife placements are being completely occupied by Jupiter, either through Jupiter nakshatra, a Jupiter sign, or the actual planet Jupiter. Like it's in all of his partner placements. That's so interesting. That just means that and his first house is Ketu. And Ketu likes to take away. Ketu likes to burn up. And Jupiter has excess energy. That's what's fascinating. Ketu and Jupiter have that push and pull. Like with Ketu and Jupiter, you see a lot of what's it called? Like people who what's it fucking called? Gold diggers. Like women who gold dig from men. So that means that like because a lot of these men are Jupiter, so they have excess energy. So actually cosmically you need these gold diggers because they eat energy. So the fact that so this is like the opposite for him where his wife is very Jupiter. So that means that honestly it could also mean that he needs a lot of like emotional support. He needs a lot of like emotion, like he needs such a strong woman in his life. He needs his woman to be very, very, very strong because he could be very, very emotionally demanding. He could be just very demanding in general as a spouse because he has to be. I mean, he's Ketu. Ketu takes away. You got to understand that. When Ketu is conjunct your sun, that can give people like cancer. That can give people physical issues because Ketu takes away. When Ketu is conjunct your moon, that can make you mentally unwell because Ketu takes away. When Ketu is conjunct your Venus, your wife can have cancer and stuff like that because Ketu takes away. When Ketu is conjunct your Mars, you can, some people are psychopaths because Ketu takes away your ability to feel compassion. So Ketu is crazy. What did I say? Oh, yeah, he's got Ketu in his first house. Whatever's in your first house, so you're like an embodiment of. So he's kind of an embodiment of Ketu, which is very, very, very fascinating. So on one hand, his Ketu is in Hasta, which is Virgo, which is like beauty, it's feminine. It's also very disciplined, like super disciplined, very pure, actually. And then on the other hand, it is Ketu. So it's very, very spiritual. I like I said, I think he might be a little bit psychic or something like that. Oh, and his son is in Danishta. Danishta people see ghosts. I wonder if he's seen ghosts before. Because Danishta people see ghosts. Because Danishta is a Mars nakshatra and Mars is very tamasic. This is why Mars rules the first house because it's very tamasic, very heavy energy. And these people who are ruled by Mars, they can see, they have like an ability to see, they can, fuck, I'm like tripping over my words. They have an ability to like pull things down from air and Mars is air because Mars is in Aquarius. So these people have a really good relationship with air, and so that's why part of why they can see ghosts. I feel like I'm rambling on. I'm so sorry. He has Sun in the fifth house. Sun in the fifth house. Are you kidding me? That's why he's an actor. The fifth house is Leo. You know, it's the house of expression, and he's got his Sun there. You know who else is a Danishta's son, and he's very handsome? Back in the day, was John Travolta. He's also Danishta's son. Mars conjunct Rahu. There's a lot of YouTube people who have Mars conjunct Rahu. Like a lot of successful YouTubers have Mars conjunct Rahu, or they will be very into technology, especially like cameras and film. I wonder if he's ever done any directing. This would suggest that maybe later in his life, because right now he's still pretty young, maybe later in his life he'll go towards directing, because Mars conjunct Rahu, something about that, like it really makes people like curious about technology. Rahu is in Revati. That's also interesting. I know a Rahu and Revati person who is obsessed with politics or obsessed with recycling or obsessed with just like humanity in general. And it's so funny because these people can be very technical, and the fact that he has Mars conjunct Rahu means that it's like he has a lot of projects at home, that he's building things. This is kind of a genius placement, but it's also kind of a nerdy placement too. That's kind of cool. Lastly, he has his moon. Oh no, I have one more last thing. He has a moon in he has his moon in his 10th house. Moon in your 10th house, that makes you an actor again, because 10th house is the house of the stage. It's the public house. Everyone can see it, but also it's the moon, and the moon is very emotional, and it's also very feminine. Like everyone can see he's emotional. This is what can make him a great actor, because when you're acting, people want to see that vulnerability when they're acting. So on one hand, his sun is in his 5th house, which makes him a very expressive person. It also means he has very good. It could mean he has good sperm. He has a good penis, good like healthy penis, because because his son, is in the 5th house. Like he's in his own house. This is Leo. Leo, the natural ruler of the sun is Leo, and he's sitting in the 5th house of Leo. So he's really having a nice time here. And then his moon is in the 10th house, and that means his emotions are put on public display. And he's an actor, so he's chosen a really good way to put his emotions on display by doing it through theater and acting. Okay, this is one last thing, and then this will be the end of the video. This is one last thing. First of all, I want to say thank you for listening to the end. I think that's really cool. And yeah, I'm glad you're listening. So his son being in Danishta, there is a theme I have noticed, and I'm going to do a video about it. I'm going to call it the Danishta assassinations. There's a theme with Danisha where they seem to kind of play the enemy of the state, or the bad guy in life, or the anti-hero, or just the anti-person. So it's interesting because, for example, he played T'Challa's cousin or whatever in what's that movie? Black Panther. So he played a villain. And it's funny because he was actually family with the royal family from Black Panther, but he was kind of exiled, or he was kind of pushed out, and he was kind of like this enemy of his own clan. That I see that theme reoccurring in Danishta people. Here's another person who was in exile, or being put away by family, was Princess Diana. She is a Danishta native too, and Princess Diana, people speculate that the royal family had something to do with Princess Diana's death. And Princess Diana was married into the royal family for a time, and then she divorced King Charles. So that's another example and she died violently, which is Mars, right? Here's another person who died violently, was Abe Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln was a Danishta son, and who hated him? The entire fucking southern continental U.S. They assassinated him again. People, and who killed him? It was a sympathizer of the South. Another person who was killed by family members was Marilyn Monroe. People speculate that the Kennedy brothers were behind her death. So again, that's another a powerful group, a family that are against someone. Anyway, I think that was a very interesting tie, because he plays that kind of story in Black Panther.